Thank you for coming, Mr. Midoriya, Achi said, as she guided Izuku through the halls of the new botanic research station. Rather than share a lab with everyone else, Izuku had given Achi and those under her a lab all to their own, allowing Project Seed to expand far beyond its original scope. You don't need to be like that. If anything, I should be thankful for all the work you and your sisters have done here, Izuku said, as they reached a set of doors. Now, please show me what you've made. They went through the doors and entered the first research chamber. Inside was an observation room, overlooking an outdoor testing room with a huge tree in the center. The tree was easily the size of a building and had large vines hanging down from it. In the observation room itself was a small table with a fruit. It was red like an apple but shaped like an orange, only with a bunch of pointy bumps on it. Not pointy enough to hurt, but enough to make it look odd. This is the most noteworthy of our research, is the Tree of Might, as well as the Fruit of Might, Achi explained. The fruit from the Tree of Might has an astronomical power to enhance all of one's natural abilities sharply. Like Trigger? Izuku asked, taking a closer look at the fruit. Achi shook her head. While it possesses similar strengthening effects, it doesn't lower one's sense of reasoning. In fact, it increases a person's mental facilities to the same extent. It's a far better strengthening tool, however it does have one downside. Its effects only last for about 30 minutes. Once that time expires, your body will go back to its normal capabilities. An issue with that is, you've just been going past your normal capabilities for half an hour. So the amount of energy and the strain you've been putting on your body catches up with you. Izuku finished. Is it fatal? Not if you only eat one, Achi explained. Eating one will mainly just cause exhaustion and maybe some mild damage to your body. You'll pass out and wake up just fine, with no permanent injuries. If you were to eat more than one, well, it gets worse with each fruit eaten. And the results could easily be fatal. Well, this was never going to be put out for the public anyway, ignoring the side effects, it's just too dangerous. Izuku said, setting the fruit down. This will go out to the military and the HPSC. Understood, sir, Achi said, as she started walking towards the opposite door. Now let us move on to our next item. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX only naturally grown fruit. Lemons that gave off juice which would kill germs. And this is our last stop, Uchi explained, as she brought Izuku to one last examination room. Inside on a small table, was a small flower, and 2 sets of earmuffs. Now it looks completely ordinary, however, that is to our benefit, Uchi said as they walked over to the table. She then handed Izuku a pair of earmuffs. Please put these on. Izuku put on the earmuffs, and then, Uchi pressed down on the flower. Ree! The flower shrieked loudly, so much so that Izuku could hear it through the earmuffs. Uchi moved her hand away from the flower, and the shrieking stopped. The 2 of them took off the earmuffs, and Uchi began her explanation. These are called shrieking violets. If a significant amount of force is applied to the petals, the flower will unleash an ear-piercing scream. Currently, it's a bit too loud for my liking, however, with a bit of work this could be used as a sort of alarm system. Interesting, plant some at the edge of the property, I think they'll be useful in alerting the Grimm, Izuku ordered. And keep up the good work. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX overlooking another room, with a large machine at its center. "Sir, you're going to be blown away," Futaba said, standing next to him, holding a remote in her hand. "We've finally done it. After so much hard work and confusion, we've finally opened a portal into the cognitive world." "Show me," Izuka said. "You bet. Just wait a second," Futaba said, before pressing down in her earpiece. "Bring in the drone." The door to the chest chamber opened, and some staff bots came in and set down a small drone. Once they left, the lights dimmed, and the sounds of machines coming to life could be heard. WRRRRRRR. After a few moments of this, a small tear opened up in the air, and expanded slightly, until it was about the size of his hand. Immediately the tear began sucking in air like a vacuum, and the drone was immediately sucked in. A TV screen turned on in the observation chamber, showing what the drone was recording. It looked very reminiscent of space, a black void filled with small star-like lights. The only difference was that there were small string-like lines connecting them all to each other. "What I think we're currently looking at is what we've called the collective unconsciousness. A metaverse intertwined with our own universe, that houses and connects the consciousness of all intelligent life. Futaba explained with a look of pure enrapture. Those lights are most likely the minds of every living being on Earth, and maybe even beyond that. And the entire dimension is filled with chaos energy, more so than anything we've registered so far. Even the chaos emeralds can't compete. It's comparing a pool to the ocean or something greater. This is everything my mother worked towards. It really is fascinating. Izuku agreed. I wonder if chaos energy has always been there, if it was there long before the dawn of quirks. Suddenly the chamber began flashing red, and the machinery started shutting down. The tear in reality sealed, and the drone's footage turned to static. What happened? Izuku asked, snapped out of his awe by the alarming set of events. Futaba sighed. That's just the alarm system and emergency shutdown. Like I said, the place is full of chaos energy, which also means when we open a tear there, it leaks an alarming amount of chaos energy. So we can't keep the portal open for very long without risking the possibility of something unwanted happening. The red lights just mean that the chamber is currently too irradiated for any organic life to tolerate. And you're sure this is safe? Izuku asked her. No horrible monsters can come out from the portal and kill us all? No sort of bacteria we won't be able to handle, nothing like that? The room is sealed shut, and has every kind of sensor you could imagine, Futaba explained. Don't worry boss, we're taking every possible precaution. We're not like those idiot smart guys in the movies. We're not gonna start the apocalypse, probably. Izuku sighed. I guess I'll just have to trust in you. Speaking of trust, I've heard you've been working with Dr. Nejiro? Oh yeah, he's one of those guys Dr. Hikari recruited, definitely a smart cookie, Futaba said. He seemed really eager about the project. Well, there may be a reason for that. Izuku sighed. I believe it's time I confronted him about his activities.